the show, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Chris McEwen. You can follow me at Chris McEwen. With me, as always, right there in front of me is a Dr. William Bush Esquire, the third owner-operator of DrivingRangeHeroes.com. And you can follow him at Range Heroes on all the social medias. Bill, before we get to our ad reads and things like that and pay some bills, I just want to know, are you prepared for our hole by hole breakdown of Los Angeles Country Club that we're going to do?
Yeah, very, very much so. I do have some personal Los Angeles Country Club stories that I'm happy to share if
that's fun.
We get into that breakdown.
Right. For those that don't know us, we're not going to do that.
No.
Instead, we're going to talk about a new Chicago. We've got a couple of Chicago animals roaming around between Chonkosaurus and the family of foxes.
Yeah. Listen, it's our second show back from our brief hiatus. God knows where it'll go, but
yeah.
I don't think our audience would want it any other way.
No, I guarantee they wouldn't. God, could you imagine if we went full on golf? I feel like they'd be like, "What are you guys doing?
Yeah,
stop doing that. That's
Absolutely.
not what we listen." Anyways, first things first. Who is the official golf ball of That Range Life, a show sometimes about golf?
Well, Chris, that would be Bridgestone Golf.
Yeah,
the one, the only. I have to say, I feel like I'm a broken record. With what we do, I'm fortunate to get to try a bunch of different golf balls.
Yeah,
and then there's the times where you're like, I just found this Pro V1, whatever.
Yeah, right.
I'll play it. The Costco Kirkland Signature. I mean, objectively the best ball in golf history, obviously, especially the 3-piece version. Quick note on that. There's a new version of it out. I haven't tested it. I can't tell you I have a ton of immediate plans to test it. You can keep asking me about it all you want. I don't know. I'll let you know when I know the difference, everybody. Anyway, I play Bridgestone golf balls, and I'm going to tell you what. I played a decent amount of golf last week, and it's like flip a switch difference for me. Admittedly, I have to play the 1 to 3, whether it's, Tour BX, Tour BXS, or E12 contact, anything out of that, and it starts getting a little wiggly, but it's just not, whether it's holding greens, controlling it again, holding up against winds, you name it. I think I said controlling greens, holding greens, whatever. You know what I'm saying? It makes, it's just heads and shoulders above everything else. And I have to tell you, I was playing with, this is a controversial statement. And again, I know people are very subjective about their golf ball.
Yeah.
It's sort of the nature of it. That's fine. I played a few holes with the current Pro V1X this past week at my home course. I'm very comfortable playing golf at the Village Links of Glen Ellen.
Yeah.
The newest Pro V1X. I'm not saying it's a bad golf ball. I don't know, but oh my God, did we not get along? I mean,
really?
We're talking like hitting a pinnacle bad, not feeling bad. I mean, like performance, whatever.
Yeah.
It just was oil and water. So as far as I'm concerned, Bridgestone for life. So happy these guys take good care of us and are the official golf ball of That Range Life.
Honestly, it's such a great golf ball. Speaking of Glen Ellen, real quick, little sidebar. Congratulations on your town now having a homegrown Tony winner.
Yeah.
I know Sean Hayes won himself a Tony, Glen Ellen's own.
I read something, he has basically was saying like how he's starting to cover all the official awards. And so in my head, I went, I just figured he had one at this point. So I was shocked to see he didn't. And so now, rather than we have a Andy Warhol exhibit in town for a period of time, and we've had like Glen Ellen celebrities and the Andy Warhol stylings plastered all over town. Now it's not just Sean Hayes, the Andy Warhol picture. Sean Hayes, the Andy Warhol picture Tony winner. It's very exciting.
That's right. It is very exciting. And I love me some Sean Hayes. My wife saw that performance when they were working on it here in Chicago, and she said it's incredible. So
nice. Yeah, and ISU
theater
Redbird
lovers. Yeah,
ISU Redbird alum too.
Yeah. He told a story in their podcast called Smartless, which I also highly recommend. When Pearl Jam, Chili Peppers, and Smashing Pumpkins, I think, were touring together. 91, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think it was Chili Peppers were the headliner, and the other two were supporting. He worked the door because they played ISU. They played the theater down there, and he worked the door for that show. Just pretty crazy.
The Bone Student Center Auditorium, I wonder.
I don't think it was the Bone, but okay. I think it was like in Uptown, probably, right? Uptown, is it Uptown Theater right there?
The like old movie theater?
Yeah.
I forgot that band. I mean, bands weren't playing that. That was with all the construction going on. That was auxiliary classrooming at the time. And
was it really?
Yeah. So outside of a few old timey movies once a week, and then classrooms, that's really all that theater got used for. It's a whole different town now.
Yeah. Yeah, it is.
This is what people came here for. Yeah,
it's true. Okay, and then I also have news.
I gotta.
What?
Maybe we got real bad internet glitching going for this recording as we're doing it remote.
Yeah,
it's our first. It's the first remote back. What do you people expect from this?
No, I was gonna say I also have news around another sponsor. God, we have so many sponsorships. Roback and us are back together. So, they did like the first, whatever it was, season, winter, spring or something to that effect. And now they're doing summer, fall or something. And so that Range Life 15 is still hitting. If you want 15% off your order, head over to roback.com and enter in that Range Life 15.
And you all are finding this out for the first time with me. So Kris, thanks for the breaking news. Appreciate it. If only people could see behind the scenes and how that whole process works. But yeah, thanks for letting me know. Appreciate it. Go do that. Shout out this Roback hoodie I'm wearing right now.
Yeah.
My only gripe. These things are great, especially for this springy, summery, weird season we have.
Yeah.
I just could use the old kangaroo pouch, the pockets. I love that pocket on a hoodie. I really do.
I like it though. I like theirs like out and about because I don't use the pouch as much, like especially on the golf course. I feel like it gets in the way. I don't really need it.
Interesting.
It's a little more slimming. It's not as baggy. I don't know. That's just me. I will tell you, I have a pair of their shorts, their new offer, their shorts, and by far the best pair of shorts I own. Straight up. Even if they weren't, like now my goal is they sell out so fast. As soon as I got the first pair, I'm like, oh, okay, time to go out and get like 4 more pair. And they were all gone. But as soon as those things are back in stock, I'm replenishing my shorts collection. I'm getting rid of all the stuff I have. It's going to be like
you would use code that Range Life 15 to replenish them if you had not already made many orders before.
It's true.
But if you haven't, folks, that Range Life 15 on your first order to get 15% off.
Yeah, such a deal. And finally, as we're heading into the 10th minute of our show, it's festival season.
Yes.
Folks. And that means when you got to stay hydrated.
Before I was going to ask you, what were you telling me about that liquid IV stuff? Why do I need that, Kris? Tell me about it.
Well, I mean, it's Liquid IV is it's a category winning hydration brand fueling your own well-being. It's got a hydration multiplier, and it's one stick. I don't have my Liquid IV sample, but you get 5 essential vitamins and twice the hydration faster than water. I mean, that's pretty good. Those are pretty good hydration statistics, if you ask me.
I love that. Listen, I'll tell you what, I've been dehydrated as heck lately.
So
Liquid
have I.
IV would do the trick.
Nice.
Maybe pour some into this my Tempercraft water bottle and mix her on up. I'll be nice and hydrated. And you know what? I'm going to tell you right now. If you have a young child who's maybe susceptible to social crazes like this new Prime, it's like an energy drink. I guess I don't know if it's just at Target, but I saw it at Target and it's loaded with caffeine and it's a new craze. And kids are getting like sick off of it because there's too much vitamin A. Get that crap out of here.
No. Yeah.
Liquid IV. Let's hydrate the right way. Okay.
Yeah. And you've got, speaking of like different, you've got flavors. You've got a new flavor called Sea Berry, which I haven't tried, but I'm very excited about it. Strawberry lemonade, grape, lemon, lime, pina colada, tropical punch, watermelon, strawberry, passion fruit, guava, and acai berry, just to name a few. William.
I love pina colada flavor and I love strawberry lemonade flavor and like
same.
Can't go wrong. Can't go wrong.
Same. So if you want to order some Liquid IV for yourself, you can head over to liquidiv.com and use code ThatRangeLife for not 10, not 15, but 20% off anything you order when you use That Range Life at liquidiv.com.
Listen, when you're laying mulch down or moving flagstone around your yards this summer too, you can use it for that. It's not just for festivals, not just for golf.
It's true.
Work. It's great.
Anytime you need some vitamins and some hydration, some electrolytes, get on to Liquid IV.
Get on it. All right, Kris. This is sort of old news in the city of Chicago.
Yeah.
But has there, like, we haven't talked about it as a reptile friendly golf show. Chonkosaurus, for those who don't know, and maybe you can slip a picture in here, is a massive snapping turtle spotted in the Chicago River, basking on some heavy chain and timber in the middle. Like you can't make up what it was basking on in the middle of the Chicago River. And this thing was no smaller than a spare wheel of a Ford Bronco.
Oh my God. I think someone said, like, well, you would know, you're the turtle expert of the show. It like outgrew its shell. Like it's outgrowing its shell. Like the thing is just huge.
That's sort of just the nature of a snapping turtle, but it's up there. And that's in the, like, I saw something like, it's at least 50 years old. I'm like, 50? That thing could be like just post Civil War era. And I'm not being funny.
Right.
Like, it could be that big.
Right.
Or that old. I mean,
that
these
old,
things, do you remember the Shed Aquarium used to have one that was, so they said was from the Civil War, and they say how they find these snapping turtles with like musket balls in their shells still. Like they live forever. They do. And noted on it though, where people really got excited not to have just Chonkosaurus roaming the Chicago River, for it to be that large and alive in that part of the river means it's eating well and it's living okay. Right. Which then means the Chicago River is possibly a little less gross than it has been, and the efforts to rebuild the habitats have gone well.
It's true. It's almost swimmable. Not quite yet, but I'm
not dying to take that chance anytime soon. Even
I won't even go in the kayak. The kayak people are nuts.
Yeah, absolutely nuts.
It is better. There is. I think there's another Chonkosaurus too. I was going to say,
and as soon as that thing went viral, there's a second one.
Right. And all of this just to point out that at some point we will, despite my aversion to the kayaks, definitely get in a kayak and try and get over to Goose Island, the actual island, not the brewery.
Right.
And try to find Chonkosaurus and Chonkosaurus's friend.
I want to point out too, people are like, oh, they've been together forever. No. Turtles are not social animals. They don't mate for life, that kind of a thing. There is a photo of two of them.
Yes.
And spotted. Like, that is incredibly unbelievable in my mind.
It's true. It really is amazing. Nothing short of amazing.
There's another thing that looks like me and giant. I better go lay next to her too. I have to see these things in person. Have they been spotted recently, or is this old news?
I haven't seen any other mention of them on Twitter, but the Twitter feed is so out of whack now. It's really
the internet lets me down constantly. Oh God, I can't even tell you how much Twitter, it just makes me sad. And every now and then I get a nice interaction with someone like, "Oh, this is fun." I'm like, "Nope." Real quickly, I'm kicked right back over. This is the worst. And then
the only fun. Sorry, go ahead.
Have you seen all the like Reddit API changes that are happening? So like Reddit's going to go the way of Dig and to be another beautiful spot in the internet.
Yeah, so they're opening up the programming or something so that people can mine the data and do things like that with it.
I don't know about that. I know the big one is they're locking down their APIs, so third-party providers. So like you don't use a Reddit app, you use something else, and to view it, that app or whatever is going to have to pay a ton of money to be able to hook into it. And then the same way, like, hey, I participate in r/golf, so I'm going to post pictures on Imgur to
right.
To show in there, they're like, well, the Imgur to Reddit API is going to get broken. Like, it's just so stupid, and it's not going to. And I don't know if they think they're making a ton of money out of this, and they're going to prosper. Just another beautiful part of the internet dead.
Right? Why not?
That's all right. Just come over to That Range Life on YouTube, DriveRangeHeroes.com.
That's right. Yeah, that's right. Let's have a conversation here. It's much more fun. I was going to say when Adam Hadwin got bodied on the 18th green of the RBC Canadian Open, Twitter was really fun for like 5 minutes because it was just like everybody doing the two things that made it feel like old school Twitter, which we didn't cover because we had recorded the day before it hit, but the Live PGA news was like the whole feed. My whole feed was Live PGA, and then when Adam Hadwin got
even like you're not.
Wasted,
so I went, you as we talk about often, I just stay out of the golf account and just stay on my personal account that's largely like pop culture and music and dumb shit. Even that got so inundated with PGA Live. I'm just off. I think I texted you that. I just shut off the internet for the day.
Yeah, you had to log off. It was everywhere. I mean, it's always weird when the New York Times, which I read every day, and I read their morning newsletter every day, when they write about golf, it's so weird. It's so weird because I also read The Athletic, and that's like the golf, or the sports part of the New York Times, really. So when a golf story kind of comes over into the New York Times thing, it's so weird. Then they always do it for majors too. Like, New York Times, stop it. Go cover news. You're not a sports periodical.
Jokingly come out of that point you just made and ask you a joke question, like I actually cared. What you thought about something to do with the PJ Live thing, but I can't even bring myself to do it. Like I just
I don't have any real thoughts about it.
Here's my one thought. In hindsight, I feel like everybody should have seen this coming, and I'm zero. That's
kind of funny because I was going to say I was shocked by it. I didn't think it would be this. I don't know. I guess I did not expect it to be this.
If you told me to predict it, never would have predicted it. But I was like, oh yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah.
That was my reaction. And then
pretty wild. Yeah. It's just a wild day. And now I wish they would stop talking about it, but they won't. So I watched whatever at the US Open on Golf Channel for about, 90 seconds. Because that's what they wanted to talk about. I'm like, no, I don't. That's not. I don't want to. I don't want to do that.
Well, it's that, or show you every 3 minutes video of them dropping a ball either in the rough or on one side of the fairway, so you can see it roll down to the other side and into the rough.
Right.
Can't get enough of those.
Are you excited about Los Angeles Country Club?
No, I should be.
Really?
I'm just not.
Yeah.
I enjoyed the Denver Nuggets Miami Heat series for sports ball.
Yeah.
And shout out Vegas Golden Knights. Enjoyed.
They're about to win themselves their first Stanley Cup.
Yeah, that's cool. And I know a lot of people are anti-Vegas. I want to shout out my friend Bailey, who went to Vegas during their inaugural season and brought this hat back for me. So that's why I wore it for the show.
Very nice.
So, that's more sports than I usually follow.
I'm not anti-Vegas, but I was very much pro Panthers.
Yeah. I like Duclair on the Panthers. I liked a lot of things about the Panthers. It was a
bummer that Kachuk got not benched, but like he couldn't play tonight for whatever reason.
I legitimately missed that.
Yeah, he was a scratch. He was a game time scratch, which is rough. And that's why I think, when we came into the studio, I think they were down 4-1 or something. It was not
7-2 when we fired up the show.
Oh my God. Is it really now?
Yeah.
I did click over to the Cubs game for a little bit. Oh, that's tough, man.
Yeah.
But what a run by Florida.
Absolutely. And, that's more sports than I usually pay attention to these days. But
I'm really surprised that you watched some basketball.
So, reason being, with my company being headquartered
in Colorado,
in the Denver area, I said, honorary. Where the Blackhawks, I had to ditch, so the Avalanche was sort of easy to pick up.
Sure.
The basketball is just more out of interest. Like, I have a lot of friends and what have you out there now, and the Nuggets are a big deal to them. So I'm like, I'll support this. I'm not saying I wouldn't rather see the Bulls win it, for the record. Can't tell you I'm a giant Bulls fan. I'm a Bulls fan. But it's still fun. So what are the Denver Nuggets doing in an NBA final and then winning it,
Yeah, and they won it.
Look at us. What a sports show. We're a sports show.
I mean, really, honest to God, we sprayed all fields, ladies and gentlemen.
Hey, we got Kris and Bill on Sports Talk.
I want to hear about this bullet that you've got on our rundown. There was a dance recital brawl. I can't decide if I want it to be between the parents, a parent and a teacher, or the kids.
I'm trying to think of how to not be too. I can give you the context. I just can't figure out how to get into it safely. Okay. So, in short, there's somewhere between 1 and 1.6 million dance studios in the area.
Correct.
And there's a handful of the big ones in the immediate area. I'll say it was one of the, when I say handful, so take a big circle that goes around Wakanda down to Joliet into the city.
Jesus. Okay. That's a huge circle.
Right. There's maybe 6, 7 dance schools that are you hear their names come up, you're like, oh.
Right.
Shoot, they're here.
Yeah.
So what people may or may not know, the dance school, they have their competitions. And then most of these dance schools also have people who don't want to do competitions. They just do their 1 to 2 recitals a year.
Performance.
Right.
Yep.
Well, one of these dance studios, one of the big ones
in
the relative area, had their big whole company recital this past week. And a brawl broke out, Kris. A brawl broke out. And we've heard rumors as to why, but in short, I mean,
parent on parent? Was it parent on parent violence?
We're hearing, because we knew someone who was there.
Can I guess the impetus of the brawl?
Well, we don't know it for sure, but
okay.
We have a current what we've heard it is. So yeah, go ahead, give it a shot, and we'll see if it matches up.
Was it an affair?
No, I was gonna say it was 2 dads, which is interesting in itself.
Okay,
as we've
were they
heard,
on the same troop?
So it's all the same umbrella, but this umbrella has sections, and the supposition is there are 2 different sections.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
Because I think if I get in too much detail, people will figure it out. So I won't do that. But
big dance company audience here at that race.
Yeah. Well, we got golf people, and the golf people, their daughters are. Trust me, they're there.
Okay.
But apparently, So this recital is like, oh, I mean, they're a big school. There's a lot of kids in it. So that means a lot of parents, grandparents, you name it. And you're talking ages from like literally 2 through seniors in high school, graduating seniors and their final dances, right?
Right.
So we're told, easily hundreds of people at this thing. And all of a sudden, with like all the kids around everybody, 2 guys get into this fight.
Shut up.
And like it is knockdown, drag out. And then more like dads get involved and start trying to break it up. And it's yelling, screaming, swearing. I know where the recital's at because we've had our recitals there before. I know the venue. It is not accommodating to a big brawl inside. And so the big brawl is taking place. People are trying to break it up, which naturally leads to the fight expanding into more people. So it wasn't like this guy's team versus that guy's team. It was just 2 guys got in this fight. And then in the efforts of breaking it up, more people start punching each other. And it was a whole to-do. And the mom we talked to just said it was terrifying, so sad because these poor little kids, whatever.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I laugh, but you're right. I mean, that's pretty rough, man.
Wildly embarrassing as a whole. Like, oh my God, we are grown ups. I'm going to tell you what I know about this. It isn't like this dance school is not an all walks of life kind of place. This is are members of society.
Yeah, right.
There's no excuse for this.
Right.
Not that there ever is, but you get you get what I'm inferring.
Yeah, but that's kind of funny because I would guess those are the kind of people sometimes that tend to have a sense of entitlement, and thus perhaps that was one of the reasons that there was a fight.
So as a
couple of dudes in white collars and brown loafers.
Yeah, maybe
right.
Pink shirts and khakis.
Right.
As I've been a dance dad for many moons now, and I have to tell you, I just can't imagine what would put me into getting in a fight at dance. I mean,
it would have to be short of like you did something to my kid, right? Like,
right. Which I guess, what do I know? I guess maybe,
but yeah,
it's not what we're hearing.
Yeah. So wait, what's the rumored start of it? I want to know. I hope it's really petty. Can it tell me it's really petty?
So I don't want to go into it's hilarious to say that, but I don't want to go into too much detail because I don't want people. I think people could piece it together based on what I've heard.
Yeah.
The long and short of it is, we think my kid's going to be on the team next year, the good team, and your kid's not, or my kid's not going to be.
So
whatever,
it is exactly what you would expect from
right. Well, and if you think so back to the point of being a dance dad for many moons now, every now and then I see glimmers of God, that whole Abby Lee's dance stuff and Dance Moms, Abby Lee's dance studio and Dance Moms, and JoJo came from
television show or whatever it is.
Yeah. You're like, okay, that's sort of a caricature of the whole thing, and there's definitely elements of truth that would you really experience, but based on everything I'm hearing, I mean, this is full on Dance Mom episode was getting recorded.
Oh, God.
Straight ready for Bravo or Lifetime or whatever stupid channel. No disrespect to Bravo. Stupid channel that show is or was.
Whatever that is. Yeah, I don't know.
Love it. Dance recital brawl. Hell yeah.
That's fantastic. What else we got on here?
So many things. I saw a commercial while I was watching the hockey game before coming in here. There's a match again. I didn't even know.
Yeah, it's that's because it's trash. If you thought the other ones were garbage, this one's going to be the worst. This one will be insufferable.
Well, it's 4 NFL guys, but I do feel like if somebody listening to or watching our show might say, you guys have always said just take the golfers out of it and put that's fair. I thought that might make it a little more interesting. I just don't care. And then I thought, what combination of players could I go, oh, this has essentially become shows that used to be on Golf Channel that nobody watched.
Right.
That
Right.
like I remember Brett Hull and Jeremy Roenick
Right.
had a match, and there were like other. I just like no one cares, no one wants to watch this.
But the thing is, like, I don't know that maybe they're just not my guys or whatever. But how much did we love? I still think about it. The Tito's par 3 thing with Joel and those dudes. Like, get those guys, man. Get those guys, especially Joel Damon, who just he was a star after season 1 of Full Swing. I mean, why not get him out and I don't know. Those are the dudes that I would like to see out there.
Or why don't they do some sort of like Joel and Gino versus Jordan and Greller. I mean, Joel and Gino would kill them, but you get my point.
Right. I don't know. I think what did Gino shoot at the last major at the PGA Championship? He got to play the next day, and I think he shot like a 95.
It's something wildly high, yeah.
Yeah, he shot like a 45 in the back or something. It was awesome.
But then there's stories of him like where he's like, oh, and he went lights out and won some sort of like.
Yeah, he's a legit good golfer. But I don't know. Get those guys out there. Get some of the lower level dudes that are actually funny and have personalities.
And just look, if that's not enough for NBC primetime or whatever, fine. Throw it on Golf Channel. Golf Channel.
Yeah, it's on TNT. Give me a break.
Oh, okay. Well,
don't put anything on there. It's the channel of Shawshank Redemption. Give me a break.
Well, that makes a little more sense. I feel like who's going to watch that? Well, it'll probably be like simulcast on 17 different channels. Like, what do you mean? Everybody wants to watch Patrick Mahomes.
Okay. Yeah. There is another match that I won't watch.
No, zero bit of it. So if anyone texts you, wait, speaking of texting, how can I ask you this? When the whole PGA Live thing happened, I'm hesitant to throw this around like, Kris, we're in golf media. You and me, we're in golf media. But I guess technically speaking, we are.
Whether you like it or not, we are.
My God, how many people texted you that day going, hey, what do you think about this?
Oh my God.
Talk about this or something.
The DMs, IMs, texts. There are two things that I'm being still inundated with. Golf. It's Live PGA thing. Some people are like, what is this? What's going on? Other people are like, oh my God, dude, what do you think? Blah, blah, right? Like it's kind of like across the board.
The people, golfers. The people are asking us, what do you think? Like, especially the golf people. Shout out Adam Unfiltered though. I'm very good for him going, I know 2 guys who do not want to group text about this.
That's right. It's true.
Like
he listens. He knows.
Those 2 don't care.
Yeah.
Those 2 don't care.
And then the other thing,
like these people, they know us. They know we don't. No, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, well, it's not really people that I interact with every day. Like
okay.
You know what I mean? Like it's just like random Facebook people or I don't know. It's just like, yeah. Anyways. And then the other thing, same group of people mostly. Everybody just, if you're listening and you're watching or whatever, I'm aware that Wrigley Field is going to have one of those stadium golf setups. Okay. You can stop sending me every time.
Oh man, that's good.
I can't tell you how many people have sent me the link or the screenshot or the whatever. Like I'm aware, everybody.
Are you going to go? You're going to go, right?
Like, have you seen this? Like, no, I haven't. How could I run a golf themed Instagram and Twitter? I think the ad people figured me out. Believe me, it showed up in front of my face the second I opened up Instagram.
Right.
But yeah,
that's pretty good. I didn't even think of that one. Thankfully I don't get that one too much. So good, man. That's really funny. It's really funny. Right. I will tell you that, and because he watches and listens loyally and contacts us both. The way I ultimately found out about that news was I got a text message like first thing in the morning, still like wiping I might have been getting out of bed for all I remember. And it was Frank making some comment. And I'm like, And I literally replied to him, what are you talking about? And it's, oh, okay. And then I just like go google.com and it doesn't even tell me to search anything. It just pops it up. It's that media taking over the world thing. And I'm like, oh man, so that's real, huh? And then
and it would be fun to do. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying I wouldn't accept an invite or pay to go, but I might be.
No, I'm sorry. I'm talking about Live PGA. Frank broke that news for me that day.
Did he really?
He was commuting on the Metro and was texting me as I'm rolling out of bed. And I was like, oh, geez. And he said something. He's like, well, make sure on drivingheroes.com, you mentioned that I broke this news, like I'm your inside source. I go, Frank, I'm surprised. I figured you knew me well enough. You are sadly mistaken if you think I'm going to post anything about this. So here, Frank, here's your shout out for being this breaking news source for me. All right. Can't wait for that. The text message about that.
What else?
Okay. The only thing we could talk about, it's all sorts of stuff. And the rest of this is sort of just rambling on stuff, but
I mean, I could give you some notes on ECC if you'd like to.
Oh yeah, we forgot about that. We could do that.
Yeah.
Because otherwise I was gonna make you explain the Bears to me going to Naperville like I was 5. But the general, do I have this right? Basically, Arlington Heights was like, whoa, now that you've bought it, this is what the value of the property is, and we're gonna tax you way higher than the value you knew. And
correct.
Bears are like, well, cool, we own this property now. But the way we can stick it to you is we're rich enough to just own this land and do something with it and not bring the Bears here.
That's part of it. And then now Waukegan offered up, like, go to Waukegan, Chicago Bears. Go to Waukegan. Enjoy that. Really what the Bears are trying to do is not pay taxes. At the end of the day, they're trying to not pay taxes on the property they own, on the buildings that they build, all these different things. They're trying to not. They don't want to put in, right? They don't want to put in for it. They want help from the town. Blah blah. It's the same thing that I shouldn't call it the Bears specifically because it's a common thing amongst professional teams in this country where they're like, sure, we'll build a stadium in your town, but then you have to give us these tax subsidies. Or you have to give us these sort of things. And Arlington Heights is like,
no. And you have to pay for it all too.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And by the way, you need to pitch in $1 billion, state of Illinois. And everyone's like, no, we're not doing that. And so I don't know. There's a little bit of a thought that the Chicago Bears and the McCaskey family aren't quite as liquid as we think they are. And they actually might not be able to afford to build what they want to build there, which is pretty interesting because remember, these are like, I don't know if you've watched Succession, but these are like Logan Roy's kids. They're a bunch of jackasses that just were born, on third base.
Right.
They're not smart business people by any means. None of them, not a single one. In fact, the only one that was really that smart was George Halas, who started the whole damn thing. And ever since, they're just been, rich because they're Halas McCaskies. They haven't done anything. So, I don't know.
Accidentally stumbled into the 85 team.
Right. Yeah. So, and then they didn't pay anybody. So that team fell apart because they're cheap. Right. Anyway, so that's kind of what the Bears are trying to do. And so they're using Naperville as leverage, basically. Like, oh, we'll go to Naperville. And I think Arlington Heights was like, okay, go to Naperville, I guess.
You still own this land, by the way, right. Just so you know.
Right. Okay. And honestly, that location, that Arlington Heights stop right there, it's right off the Metro. I mean, it's perfect. It is perfect for a stadium. So just stop being stupid. So that's the Bears to Naperville gist.
Perfect. You explained it to me like I was 5, like I needed perfect. Just I loved it. All right, you want to give me some Elgin notes before we close it out? Before
you can want to talk
about what? Okay,
you can get a deep dive over at Golf Unfiltered because Adam and I did a podcast Have Clubs Will Travel is the name. So the subset of the podcast. There's also a video on his YouTube channel, but there will be a video on this channel too as soon as I'm done editing it. Anyways, I was really, really surprised at the undulations of the fairways of that golf course.
Yeah.
It's
Fox
like
River Valley, man.
It's a thing, man. It's not. Yeah, that's totally true, and it makes sense now that you say that. But I was just not expecting a course like that in Illinois. Quite honestly, I mean, if you think about, you haven't played Pete Dye in French Lick, but Pete like built all those hills up. Like you have the same kind of big undulations in the fairway, but those are all that's land that's been moved.
Yeah.
And obviously the Bendelow of 1901, they didn't have the ability to move land like that. So it was just like, that was the other thing too, that you're reminded about how great old courses are when they couldn't really manufacture stuff. They like took the land. They're like, okay, we're going to put a golf course here and we're going to figure it out. And how just sort of natural the whole thing is as you travel around the course.
Yeah.
It was really cool. I really, I was not expecting that. I mean, they're really dramatic rolls in those fairways. Like
I'll be
pretty
interested to see when Medinah 3, the redo is done, because I forgot you and I talked about your upcoming round at the time, upcoming round there, not on the show.
Right.
You just said you were going there, and I was like, oh, here's some notes. But hearing the city noises in the background, and I'm like, oh, that's hilarious that I can hear that.
No sirens for a while. I didn't have a single siren while we were recording.
Oh no, good to be back. But it's interesting. So like Bendelow designed Medinah, all the original stuff at Medinah, and the majority of the general layout of number 3 as it got worked a ton over the years, it was still roughly his design for the most part. Yeah. And it's shocking when you would go there, specifically on 3, and you were like, geez, how in, because I don't know, Medinah is a little tiny postage stamp of a town.
Oh my God. Yeah.
Next to, I guess, what would that be? Roselle, Addison. Yeah. Like wedged in there, and Schaumburg, and there's a little bit, I guess, is that the Salt Creek or DuPage River? I don't know, whatever.
Salt Creek,
flowing through there. Yeah. Where does it's not the whole course, the whole number 3, but like, where do these slopes and the undulations come from? So then, at least out in Elgin, you have the Fox River. And it makes a little that's like a significant river, whether it has a valley and it adds up a little bit. But it was like the design was sort of like a Medinah number 3. There's a lot of holes. You're like, God, that looks like that on number 3 and that on number 3, making it more like, where did this come from?
Yeah,
in Medinah, it's the weirdest thing in the world. But
I'm interested now too that you say that, because I know they're doing the huge restoration, renovation, whatever you call it, at Medinah 3, if they hold on to those themes.
Yeah,
Elgin.
I think it'll be tough to see the Elgin comparison when it's done. For instance, when Doak redid number 1 at Medinah, there was nothing about it. I was fortunate to be able to see it before and after. There was nothing about the Doak redo where you're like, oh yeah, I see the Bendelow roots here. Like,
really?
Yeah. So I'll be, with what they're talking about doing, I'll be surprised if it has any of the Elgin themes still, but I do think like some of the big hills and slopes just won't be gone. And a lot of the trees, like that's the other thing at Elgin, there are tons of old 150-year-old plus oak trees and stuff.
For sure.
A lot of those already got yanked out of Medinah, but they definitely had that in common. But yeah, Elgin, don't have my connections out there like I used to, but I loved playing out there. Did you guys walk it?
We didn't. No, we rode, just because I had all the gear. You know what I mean? Like
I've walked it. Like I played it a whole bunch of times. And I probably only walked it twice, and it is borderline, not the worst, but borderline miserable walk. And I'm waiting. No, it's not us. But like, no, it wasn't. It was not pleasant by the end of it.
Those hills are going to wear you down for sure.
And they don't look as bad as they are. And then I can't try to think what hole it is. I'd have to really work through to figure out what hole it is. But there's one where the start of the fairway is like sort of absurdly far away from the tee box, and then it just drops off on the left-hand side.
I wonder if that's 10. Is it a dog leg right? Do you remember?
Yeah, it might be 10. It could be.
Yeah, I think it's 10.
And you're like, oh, okay. And you just start trotting away, and you're like just getting to the fairway, and you're like, why am I running out of breath already? This is insane.
Yeah.
But yeah, God, I love that course. It's so good. I don't know. Maybe you guys talk about this in your content, but I'm genuinely worried it'll be another lost gem of the area. It might have had a resurgence over COVID, but it was in the kind of Ravislow, Calumet Country Club, like the membership dwindling. Who wants to come all the way out to Elgin for this kind of golf? But that might have changed. I don't know. Yeah,
so we do talk about that a little bit. To their credit, well, they had a surge. They did have a post-COVID surge of membership, which was good. And they also moved to meet the clientele, right? So instead of being, traditional sort of more strict decorum stuffiness, they're like, nope, kids, wives, spouses, everyone is welcome. Anybody can play golf at any time of the day. It's not like, women can't play until 11 a.m. Like we were saying that I've never seen more couples out on a golf course playing golf than I did at Elgin Country Club, which I was really impressed with. But and they're updating all their amenities. So, it's just a very, very different vibe than I think what you're used to with a lot of country clubs. And I think that's because, like you said, they need to go to where the customer wants to be. Right. And
right.
I think there are more of us that just want to be able to hang out somewhere and relax and not have to worry about all the country clubbiness of yesteryear.
They used to not allow members to have a guest on the course before like 11 a.m.
Right. And the other thing they told us too, this is pretty cool. And we'll play. You have a connection now. You've got me now, William.
Yeah.
And we've been invited back, and Joe, who runs the place, is awesome. Super cool dude. So we'll go back and play it. I want you to see it anyways, because they've redone every bunker in the place. And it looks incredible. And they're moving bunkers too, to be more towards the modern game. You know what I mean? So they're pushing some fairway bunkers back to where they might be in play instead of just, playing directly over them, because you're hitting anything 240 or 250.
Don't know what you just said that made me thinking of the bunkers. The hole I was talking about is not number 10. Number 10, if I'm not mistaken, number 10's leaving the clubhouse, because number 11's, I think it's number 11's that short. It's like, it's a fairly short hole, but it has that giant dip and that huge uphill up to the green. That thing's that hole becomes a nightmare real quick, even though it's short.
That's such a fun hole. Yeah, that's a really fun hole. Adam had a eagle putt on that hole. Matter of fact, he drove that green.
Yeah. Sometimes you drive it over and you're in the bunker behind the thing. Sometimes you get right in front of the green and then fall all the way down that hill and go, that's
false
fine.
Fronts. We all had to deal with a false front at least twice. Where you just didn't get it up on the green high enough, and sure enough, it came all the way back to your feet, if not past you as it rolled down. Super fun.
In an effort to not just take all of your content away, I will leave you with 3 notes. 1, it is the only place I have missed a putt high or whatever, and it went behind the hole. These are just those greens went behind the hole, and as it slowed down, stopped and then rolled backwards and went in. Yeah, I missed the putt. It wasn't like, I was playing for it. I missed the putt, and it just went left of the hole, passed it by about 3 inches, stopped, and fell backwards and rolled in. Thought of another. I got when the mics go off story to tell you. Don't let me forget when we're done.
Okay.
And last but not least, my favorite thing about that place the lavender scented ball washers. Did you
Oh,
notice
I did not
that? Unless
notice
they
that.
stopped doing it, but yeah,
I didn't wash my golf ball, but I'll have to see if they do that. I love that.
Yeah, it was glorious. You're like, why does it smell like I just washed my? Oh,
yeah,
because they've sent these things. It's fantastic. Yeah, it was the smallest little thing, and it's a big, beautiful golf course. But you're like, God, the lavender ball washers, what a touch.
Oh, and one other fun fact, small world moment. Our host Joe, who runs the club, he had mentioned he was born and raised in Bartlett, and he plays in the Thursday night league at Bartlett Hills. And I said, "Well, do you know Phil?" He's like, "Who doesn't know Phil?"
Right.
So there we go. All circular, all connected. We're all connected, Bill.
Don't need you. I got Phil for a connection.
It's true. Honestly. Yeah. So that was really fun. And when I said like, yeah, I was married to his wife's sister, he's like, shut up. I'm like, yeah, it's true.
There's a small world. What a golf.
Wild, right?
Yeah.
Wild.
Country club golf. Am I right?
All right. Let's close this thing out. Don't forget to like and subscribe and hit the bell for YouTube channels. Podcast listeners, you can rate and review and also subscribe. And Bill, you know what's most important that our listeners and viewers do?
Just listen to it and don't talk about it. Is that it? No?
Yeah. Tell a friend.
Oh, that's right. Tell a friend.
Tell a friend. That's right. That's Bill Bush at Range Heroes, owner operator of DrivingRangeHeroes.com. I'm Kris McEwen at Kris McEwen. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. We'll talk to you next week.